You tapping in real quick, something light, nothing major. Peace and blessings and all that. You know what I'm talking about? Hopefully everybody's Friday has kicked off properly. And you know, your week has gone according to plan. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing too crazy about this video right here. We just gonna sit here and chop it up for a few minutes for what it's worth while I burn this down and we breeze through this card in an attempt to find some props to properly secure our back doors, you know, in case some of these favorites take a shit. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go ahead and dive into it, man. Let's talk about it real quick, man. I'll tell y'all one that I'm real big on. Real big on securing this door right here. He is one of the biggest underdogs on the card. If I am not mistaken, he is the second biggest underdog on the card. We have Gene Silva, minus 550 versus Melsik. A plus 390 underdog tag next to his name. This motherfucker right here kept me up last night, man. This motherfucker right here interrupted my breakfast this morning. This motherfucker right here been fucking with my train of thought all day. This motherfucker right here didn't make it any easier at the weigh-ins. You know what I'm talking about? Melsik looks fucking ridiculous. Looks ridiculous, man. All looks aside, all physicality looks aside, you understand what I'm saying to you? Melsik's just faster. Melsik's just fast. We know Melsik has pop. We know Melsik is powerful. But he's definitely fucking faster. You know what I'm talking about? They both have pop. They are both fucking powerful. Melsik is fucking faster, man. Melsik is fucking faster, man. By a wide fucking margin, he's faster. You understand what I'm saying to you? That motherfucker's speed compared to Gene Silva's speed is fucking ridiculous. Undeniably incomparable. Melsik likes to implement a heavy kicking game. His push kicks, his teep kick, his body kicks, they all possess a certain amount of pop. They are all vicious kicks. You understand what his head kicks? All of his kicks, he implements a very nice and a very nasty kicking game. With that being said, he has a 2-inch height advantage, which will play in very much so to his advantage as far as those kicks are concerned. I see him keeping Gene back. I see him being very fucking problematic for Gene. The more I watch both of these individuals fight, the way both of these individuals fight, the way both of these individuals approach a fight, you understand what I'm saying to you? There is a reason that neither one of them has ever lost inside the distance via KO TKO. There is a reason that neither one of them has ever lost via decision. There is a reason that both of these young men have only lost 2 times inside the distance via submission. They're too fucking dangerous on the feet, man. They are too fucking dangerous on the feet, man. You understand what I'm saying to you? Ah, man. Melsik's money line is one thing, but that's not even how I'm going to play it. Let's go into the method section. This is how I'm securing my back door in this Melsik fight. Melsik via KO TKO at plus 1,000. If you want to fuck with me, you can put $10 on it to get you 100 back. That way, if you heavily invested on the Gene side in some parlays, at least you get 100 back off that $10 investment to Melsik if that shit goes left. You understand what I'm saying to you? I'm dropping a dub on plus 1,000. I'm dropping this plus 700. I'm going to drop a dub on that plus 700 via decision. Now this plus 3,400 via submission. Granted, it's the only way either one of these two individuals have lost and lost inside the distance. That's why it's a plus 3,400. I'll put $10 on it, just the fucking case. Maybe he clubs and subs him. Maybe he locks up his first submission inside the distance. Because if I'm not mistaken, his 8 victories come via 5 knockouts. 3 decisions, and his 2 losses come via 2 submissions. So I'm just going to cover this whole prop section. That's just me, though. I'm dropping a dub at plus 1,000. I'm dropping a dub at plus 700. And I'm dropping a dime at plus 3,400. So I am invested $50 into the dog side in the method section on these props for this fight. And that's okay because I am already heavily invested on the Gene side of things in my other parlays. You understand what I'm saying to you? So if Gene fumbles this bag in some way, shape, form, or fashion, I'm good because I got $20 on plus 1,000 for the KO, which is going to bring me back 200 and some change. You know, the 200 plus my dub. I got 20 on a plus 700. That's going to bring me back a buck and some change. And then I got a 10 on the 3,400. You know what I'm talking about? So he's going to win via one of those motherfucking outcomes. You know what I'm talking about? So as long as, if Gene wins, I'm good. Fuck that little $50 investment. That was to secure my door. And, you know, as long as the other legs come through with Gene's attached to, there's significant payouts anyway, and I'm in heavy on them. You know what I'm talking about? But if Gene fumbles that bag, I'm going to be glad I put a dub on this plus 1,000 to get that 200 back, and a dub on this plus 700 to get that buck and some change back, and that dime on that 3,400. You feel what I'm saying to you? Because one of them's going to fucking smack. That's how I'm going about securing it, man. With all due respect to Gene. You know what I'm talking about? It's just, it's one of those things, man. This is highly competitive. This is closely contested. And I think one of them, you know, can slightly edge it via decision. Might actually just be a bit more fucking dangerous inside the distance, man. Listen, 5'7" for Gene, 5'9" for Melsik. 69-inch reach for Gene, 70-inch reach for Melsik. Orthodox for Gene, southpaw for Melsik. You know what I'm talking about? Gene lands about 5.37 strikes on average per minute at a 52% striking accuracy, while Melsik lands 5.28 strikes per minute at a 61% striking accuracy. You know what I'm talking about? 57% striking defense for Gene, 58% striking defense for motherfucking Melsik, man. Neither one of them really shooting for takedowns. They both have respectable takedown defenses, 72 for Melsik, 80 for Gene. This right here doesn't get any more highly competitive and closely contested. And when you go look at the body of work produced by both of these individuals, man, this is a dangerous fucking fight. And in my personal opinion, one, if not both of these most significant favorites on this card are going to fumble, man. Oh, yeah, we're going to have a play on Nick Klein via KO, TKO, via decision, and via submission, man. Because he came out there looking like an absolute fucking beast. And the boy Abdul, biggest favorite on the card, minus 1250, came out there looking a bit unsure, a bit unsettled, a bit fucking confused. You understand what I'm saying to you? Again, this is just my personal opinion and my view. You know what I'm talking about? But these big dogs are absolutely getting plays over here in the doghouse by, you know, Fresh Start Mixed Martial Arts, man. Absolutely necessary. You heard them numbers, man. You heard them numbers. It's a reason why both of these individuals have never lost inside the distance via KO, TKO. And it's a reason they've never lost via decision, man. They'll produce the better body of work over the course of 15 minutes by putting you in compromisable positions on the feet, by fucking cracking you and hurting you. You know what I mean? Just producing a better body of work over the course of 15 minutes on the feet, man. They'll keep the fight upright with their respectable takedown defense. You know what I'm talking about? And the only way that you're going to really get them out of there or get the dub over them is if you're able to overwhelm them in the wrestling and grapple them, get them down, put them in a compromisable position, and find a submission. You understand what I'm saying to you? Neither one of these young men are going to take that route. Not in my personal opinion, man. Melsik definitely isn't. 0% takedown accuracy, 0 takedowns accumulated over the course of 15 minutes. Now, there's a 50% takedown accuracy from Gene with 0.81% takedowns over the course of 15 minutes. Now, I would not be surprised if Melsik turned Gene into a wrestler like motherfucking, you know, Dustin was doing to Conor, man. You know what I mean? Like Nate did to Conor after he cracked him. And what I mean by Dustin did to Conor, because when Dustin knocked Conor out that motherfucking first time before the second time with the leg snap, all you have to do is watch it back 100 times after he caught that motherfucker while he was backpedaling over there by the cage. Conor ran right into that last exchange. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because he was trying to shoot for another takedown. He didn't like it, again, how things were going on the feet. And when he don't like how things are going on the feet, he tries to go in. Boom! He just ran right into a motherfucking hook. You know what I mean? That go around. I could see the same thing happening to Gene. I ain't even gonna hold you. I could see Melsik turning this young man into a motherfucking wrestler. You understand what I'm saying to you? Them fucking kicks, man. And the fucking speed. The way this boy comes. The angles he cuts. The speed. I gotta keep touching on the speed. The speed is fucking ridiculous. When compared to Gene's speed, the speed is fucking ridiculous. And the pop is there in each and every individual shot. I'm done, yo. I'm done. My bad. I'm done. I'm done. We'll get up out of that one and we'll talk about another one. But me, Melsik, via KO TKO at plus 1,000, dub. Melsik, via points at plus 700, dub. And just for the fuck of it. Because what if I didn't cover that motherfucker and it went that way? Melsik via submission at plus 3,400. I put fucking 10 odds on it. You know what I mean? It's going to bring 340 back if it happens, so I just put 10 odds on it. The plus 700 is going to bring 140 back. The plus 1,000 is going to bring 200 back. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is. That's how that motherfucking back door is getting covered. My bad. I took 11 minutes on that shit. I didn't mean to take 11 minutes on that shit. You know what I'm talking about? But I feel like, you know, I needed y'all to feel where I was coming from on that one, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I needed y'all to feel where I was coming from on that one. You know what I'm talking about? Because, man, I can't tell you how many times I got up last night. First and foremost, I stayed up late last night because of this fucking fight. And then I got up a couple times last night and pulled this motherfucking MacBook open, grabbed my motherfucking phone, started motherfucking doing my one side. I'm watching tape on this side and tape on this side. I'm watching how he handles this type of a motherfucking opponent while he's over here, you know what I'm saying, with the similar type shit, and I'm watching these motherfuckers screen for screen. I'm just trying to see the holes, see if these motherfuckers are gonna see the holes. You know what I mean? Just see. I'm just doing my fucking absolute best. You know what I mean? Much like last week with Jared Cannonier, plus 310 via KO TKO. Because what we say, Gregory Rodriguez had been put in compromisable positions on his feet by lower levels of opposition in the past, so it was a mandatory sprinkle at plus 310. It cashed. The week before that, Rong Zhu, plus 900. If he spoils Cody's debut, it's going to be via decision. It ended up being fight of the night, back and forth. They both had their moments. Rong Zhu cashed at plus 900. We had a double on that for $180. You know what I'm talking about? Like, last couple weeks that we've had to secure our back doors, we've done so, and, you know, we've done so successfully. You know what I mean? First 3 weeks, we didn't really need to do a whole lot of backdoor securing. Dogs was barking for us back dogs on the same card. That's how the fight was lined up. Philippe Booms, bark. Punahele Soriano, bark. Who came up next? Christian Rodriguez, bark. By far the most successful night of this, you know, fight night card of this year as far as profitable margins are concerned, you know what I mean? But the week before last, shit was sketchy. Had to secure that back door with Rong Zhu, man. I felt like I could be on the wrong side of quite a few fights, man. So let me go about trying to secure my back door in this prop section, and Rong Zhu plus 900 paid off. You know what I'm talking about? The following week, the same thing, man. I made my picks, and, you know, I was sketched out on some of them shits. Secure that back door. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Jared cashed it plus 310. So what we doing now is trying to properly secure some back doors this week, just in case things go left, man. And that's what we just did. My bad, it took fucking 14 minutes to talk about it, because we still got a couple more to talk about. But that's why, man. That's why. That's one of my biggest ones right there. That's one of my biggest what ifs this week, man. What if Melsik knocks this motherfucker unconscious? What if Melsik just takes all of that steam and puts it on his side and just rides off into the fucking wind with it? You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is. These individuals, in my personal opinion, as well-rounded, as solid, and as dangerous as they've proven that they can be from the fighting nerds, you know what I'm talking about? They're not going to continue to just win, because in my personal opinion, that team doesn't have champions wrapped up in it. You know what I'm talking about? When I look at the champions, the current champions in the division and the landscape of the divisions that they're in and just the landscapes of these divisions in the UFC right now, I don't see world champions over there at Fighting Nerds. I see very solid, very well-rounded, and very dangerous individuals that can be in the top 10, that can be, you know, in the talks of possibly maybe, you know, getting into title contention, but just never really making it the, you know, the whole way there. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. What if, man? What if Melsick just does him fucking dirty, man? Because a couple times Melsick's been placed in a cage with individuals on the other side that like to, you know, get motherfuckers up out of there and have, you know, proven to be dangerous at the level of opposition that they were competing at. He tends to go right after them. Right after them, the knees. I mean, when they get in close, I fear for Gene. Them knees are vicious, man. The way he just rains elbows. I mean, he puts combinations together with the elbow. He'll come off this motherfucking one, bang with the bolo, bang with another one, and then rain down on you with 3 of them from this motherfucking side. Disengage and hit you with a kick to push, and then I mean, this motherfucker's vicious, man. He's vicious when you let him work. And if Gene Silva doesn't go in there to wrestle, he's going to allow him to work. Gene Silva likes to work too, but Gene Silva's not as fast as this young man. He's not as long, and them kicks, the kicking game that Melsick likes to implement, that 2-inch height advantage is going to play very much into his advantage when it comes to those kicks. This is a messy fucking fight, man. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe motherfucking I was just right off the jump when I rock with Gene, because Gene is the pick. I'm not switching nothing. I'm just properly preparing for being on the wrong side of that motherfucker by, you know, getting up in these props, man. But I'm off of it. I'm off of it, yo. This is a dangerous fight, man. This is a dangerous fucking fight, man. And I don't get the price tag. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But it is what it is. Gene's on a tear right now. He's got some steam on him. Long like train smoke behind him right now. You know what I'm talking about? So, motherfuckers is on his top. But that's it. We out of there. 17 minutes. I'm done. Let's talk about the biggest favorite on the card. Abdul Malik Mansour versus Nick Blue Collar Klein. Plus 710 for Nick on the money line. Minus 1250 for Abdul. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. We dubbing this out. Fuck it. We dubbing it out. Nick Klein, I'm putting $60 on this dog. It is what it is, y'all. I'm putting $60 on this dog, and I'm doing that because I already have, I already got about 300, 400 wrapped up into this card as far as, you know, my most confident picks and these other favorites, you know what I'm talking about? So it is what it is, you know what I mean? If my most confident picks, which are 2 favorites, you know what I'm talking about, wrapped with these other favorites, parlays that I got put together, 4 legs, 5 legs, 6 legs, if those favorites all come together and do what they need to do, what I wanted them to do, what I expected them to do when these fights first got announced and I first saw the money lines and I put my early bird parlays together, then I'm good because there's significant enough payouts for me. I'm super straight on them payouts, you know what I'm talking about? But if for some reason one of them fumbled a bag, one of them being Abdul, or one of them being Gene, because it's normally one of the bigger favorites on the card, if not both of them. We saw the one night with the ladies, both of them. Both of the biggest favorites got fucking smoked. Ming or whatever knocked out old girl and sent her out of the fucking cage on a stretcher. She was the second biggest underdog on the card. Then the biggest underdog on the card was fucking Gabriella, who cracked and then took advantage of the vulnerability of motherfucking Kong and submitted her. You know what I'm talking about? So normally it's one of the more significant favorites that fumbles the bag. That night it was multiple. It was the 2 biggest favorites and a couple other favorites. But it is what it is, man. I just would hate to be on the wrong side of Had my parlay go to shit because I had somebody that was over minus 500 wrapped up in it. And I do have Abdul wrapped up in a couple all favorites parlays. And he was like a minus fucking 800 or minus 1,000. You know what I'm talking about? So if that minus 800 or minus 1,000 is the leg that fucking kills me, I'll be ready to put my fucking head through the drywall, because how many times do I say, don't wrap up a minus 500 or above, unless you're doing haymakers or Hail Marys, just stay away from it. You feel me? I did an all favorites parlay, a couple variations of them, and he ended up in them motherfuckers, man. So if, he's the one that fumbles the bag for me, bro, I'll put my fucking head through the drywall because I know better, so I have to do this. You know what I'm talking about? I have to do this because I already did that. You know what I mean? For me, it's mandatory to do. Because if I don't fucking do it, and that motherfucking leg crumbles, like I said, I'll be ready to put my fucking head through the drywall because I absolutely know better. You know what I mean? So Nick Klein, via submission, is plus 1,400. If I'm not mistaken, he has won his last 3 fights via submission. And he's won his last 3 fights as an underdog. You know what I mean? If I am not mistaken, he was a favorite. I think he got knocked out. He got hurt. So he lost his fight. He lost the fight. And then he came in as a plus 1-something underdog, won via submission. Came in again as a plus 1-something underdog, won via submission. Came in again as a plus 1-something underdog, won via submission. If I'm not mistaken, he has won via submission. All 3 of his submission wins have come in his last 3 fights, and they have come at an underdog price. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Abdul, in my personal opinion, we know the O is going to go. It's just, that's inevitable. It's just about when's it going to go, who's going to take it from him, his blue collar, the guy to do it. You know what I mean? After watching those weigh-ins, Mansour Abdul Malik, I know he was up there and he was talking to his higher power or saying whatever he was saying to his higher power. But the eyes, the posture, everything he was giving off, not necessarily like he didn't want to be there or he had a rough weight cut, just unsure, nervous, uneasy. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't really look like he looked the last time or two that I've seen him. Where Nick on the other side absolutely did, dialed in, rock, ready to rock and ready to go. So we'll get off of this one, because now I've taken this one into 22 minutes. 22 minutes for 2 fights talked about. Ain't that about a bitch? Nick via submission at plus 1,400, dub. Nick via KO TKO at plus 1,800, dub. No, hold on. What am I not seeing? I'm gonna put that in my mouth backward, goddamn. Here we go. Yeah. Nick via submission, plus 1,400. Nick via points, plus 1,800. Nick via KO TKO, plus 2,400. Dub. That's all I'm gonna say. Dub. That's just how that's going. That's just how that's going. That's how the ball bounce and the cookie crumble, y'all. Dub. So I am now, dub dime. Dub. Dub dime. Dub. $110 invested in two underdogs. You know what I mean? The 2 biggest underdogs on the card, which is okay, because if I don't hit on either one of them, I have both of them wrapped up in a parlay. That just means that those 2 legs are secured on that parlay, and as long as the other 2 legs, 3 legs, 4 legs when it comes to the 4 leg, 5 leg, 6 leg, as long as the other legs are secured, then those parlays hit. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is, man. Maybe it all goes to shit, and I miss it all by 1. That has happened before, man. Sometimes securing the back doors, I secure the wrong one, or I secured the wrong way. That's why I secured via all 3 plays. KO, sub, points, because I've secured it the wrong way before. I've secured it via KO, secured it via points, and it happened via club and sub, vice versa. So now I just secure it all 3 ways, you know what I mean? Because if he's going to win, he's going to win in one of those ways, and all 3 of those ways are better than the money line, you know what I mean? So that's just how I do that, you feel me? But that's me, and that's my degenerate shit, man. You know what I'm talking about? So that's the 2 biggest favorites on the card. Gene Silva and Abdul. Abdul being the biggest and Gene Silver being the second biggest. And that's how I went about securing my door in those fights with the two biggest underdogs on the card. The biggest one being Blue Collar Nick, and the second biggest one being Melsick. Blue Collar Nick and Melsick. You know what I mean? I got a dub invested in the Blue Collar Nick. And I mean, 60 invested in the Blue Collar Nick with 3 dub plays, and 50 in the Melsick with 2 dub and dime play. You know what I'm talking about? And that's how we gonna do that right there. Now, for me, I don't know about y'all, but for me, this one's absolutely necessary. Brendan Allen. You know what I'm talking about? And Brendan Allen, to get it done by submission, is 1,100. By points is 470, and by KO is 1,300. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna put a dub on a plus 1,100. I'm gonna put a dime on the KO at plus 1,300. I'll take the 130 back. It's cool. The dub at plus 1,100, you know, that's gonna give me right over 200. And then I'll just put the dub at plus 470, you know what I mean, to get over 100 back. You feel what I'm saying, too? So I'm going to be 60 in on Brendan, too. And that's just how that go. But like I said, excuse me, I have Fluffy wrapped up in parlays, actually with, you know, Gene and Abdul. He's going to be one of the legs going for the 4-leg parlay, you know what I'm saying? So I'm all right with making this investment on Brendan, because if Fluffy fumbles, then I get this, you know what I mean? The same way as if one of my other, you know, bigger favorites fumbles, I get that. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm going to take the dub at the plus 1,100 because I feel that's the submission, because I feel like that's how he's going to get it done. Then I'll put the, you know, the dime on the KO, TKO at plus 1,300 because I'm not altogether sure he's going to be able to find his way to the KO, TKO. On Fluffy, I think more so it's going to be the submission, but I don't want to just play the submission and miss out on the KO, TKO, secure of the door, because that's what happened to me before. That's why I'm playing all fucking 3. And at plus 470 for the decision, I can see that happening. I can see Brendan Allen, you know, producing a better body of work over the course of 15 minutes. Not hurting Fluffy on the feet, you know what I mean? But producing a cleaner, crisper, more technical body, more technically sound body of work, while also mixing in the wrestling and grappling, staying safe, and possibly putting Fluffy in some compromisable positions to win the decision. So plus 470, a dub for a little over 100 back. Plus 1,300 for the KO, a dime just to get the little over 100 back. And at plus 1,100, I put a dub on that motherfucker because, you know, I think that's the most likely outcome. You know what I mean? If this thing finishes inside the distance, it's going to be Brendan Allen via submission. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It's a half a man up there on him, too. You know what I'm talking about? And that now has me, what, $1.60 in on dogs? You know what I mean? 50 on Old Bull, 50 on Old Bull, 60 on Old Bull. Yup. That's okay. That is okay. My smallest 2-leg parlay at minus 212 that I put 100 on pays back more than that investment I have into the dogs. So as long as those 2 legs come for me at minus 212 that I put a yard on, I almost put $212 on just to be a fucking degenerate. But I just went ahead and threw 100 on them at plus 212 just to go ahead and, you know, secure that bag real quick. So as long as them 2 legs come through, you know, they cover this little investment into, then I get that couple hundred back, plus the 100 I put into the motherfucking bet, you mean, my investment. And, you know, it covers all of these little investments and some. So, like, I'm good with all this, man. Because if those 2 legs hit, then that's good, you know what I mean? And I got 3-leggers and 4-leggers and 5-leggers and 6-leggers. I skipped over 7. I got 8-leggers. I skipped over 9. I got 10-leggers. Then I got 11 and 12-leggers on the app, you know what I'm talking about? So I got shit going crazy all over the fucking place, man. Y'all already know. But, you know, long as them 2 legs do what they need to do, and that 3rd leg comes, like, I'm way in the green. And that 4th leg come through, I'm all the way up. Who gives a fuck about these dog plays? You know what I'm talking about? That's why first and foremost, man, at the end of the day, I offer my picks, man. But this is a parlay channel, man. I'm going to do my best to offer the absolute best parlay options, man, so we could try to find our way to a bag in some way, shape, form, or fashion, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because these picks are these picks, but what we really here for is to make this motherfucking money, man. We here to properly place these picks into a parlay that's going to cash for us. That's why we here. That's why we go to all these fucking channels, all these other predictions, and do all this tapping in everywhere, and do all our due diligence, and gather all our information, and put everything together, and then we kind of try to, you know, find the proper parlay placement based off of all of that, man. Well, you know, that's what this is here. That's what I'm here for, man. That's what all this is for. So we securing our doors with that Brendan Allen and Fluffy, because I'm on Fluffy. You know what I mean? Fluffy's my pick. Fluffy was my pick, but we just cannot deny that the level of opposition is completely fucking different. What Brendan Allen has been doing is just completely fucking different. You know what I'm talking about? There's no denying that. That's not my personal opinion. This is fucking facts. You know what I'm talking about? Anthony Hernandez overturned no contest to the fucking Beverly Hills Ninja, Jordan Wright. If I'm not mistaken, that was the Beverly Hills Ninja, right? Coming off the Contender Series. Loses via anaconda choke to Mark Perez. Then he anaconda chokes Jun Young Park. Then he gets knocked out by Kevin Holland. Then he submits the submission that was heard everywhere because it wasn't supposed to happen. He submits Adolfo Rivera. He beats Josh Frem. Welcome to the club. Arm triangles Marc-Andre Barriou. Welcome to the club as far as beating him too. He beat Edmund Shabazian, ground and pound, elbows, if I'm not mistaken. That's a decent win. Roman Kopylov and Michel Pereira, that's relatively the same level of opposition in my personal opinion. I might actually rate Roman Kopylov as an all-around better mixed martial arts than Michel Pereira. I'd actually like to see them two fight. But he beat Roman Kopylov and Michel Pereira. So Edmund Shabazian is really his biggest name. But Roman Kopylov, if we're being honest, he might beat Edmund Shabazian in 2025 and Michel Pereira. So Roman Kopylov might be the best win on Fluffy's record. You know what I'm talking about? Now, keeping all of that in consideration, Brendan Allen came off a Contender Series with a rear naked choke. He came in and made his UFC debut, rear naked choking Kevin Holland, who knocked out Fluffy. One thing has nothing to do with the other, but it's all worth consideration. So he debuted rear naked choking Kevin Holland, knocked out Tom Breeze, and then beat Kyle Dawkins. Then he loses to Sean Strickland in, like, damn, Brendan, kind of fashion. But he lost to Sean Strickland. But, it was when Sean Strickland was on his way up, 2020. Then he ankle locks Carl Roberson, beats Punahele Soriano, and loses to Chris Curtis. Chokes out Sam Alvey, beats Jacob Malkoun, chokes out Christoph Jocdo, chokes out Andre Muniz, chokes out Bruno Silva, chokes out Paul Craig, gets revenge on Chris Curtis. Then he loses via decision to Nasruddin Imavov, who knocked out Israel Adesanya and knocked out Jared Cannonier. Since then, you can't really frown on him about that. Nasruddin Imavov is primetime Nasruddin Imavov. This happened September 28th, 2024. You know what I'm talking about? Nasruddin Imavov then went on to then knocked out beat Roman Dolidze, knocked out Jared Cannonier, beat Brendan Allen, and knocked out Israel Adesanya. You cannot frown at that Nasruddin Imavov of 2024 and 2025 beating Brendan Allen. But run through that again, man. Chokes out Kevin Holland, knocks out Tom Breeze, beats Kyle Dawkins, ankle locks Carl Roberson, beats Punahele, chokes out Sam, beats Jacob, chokes out Christoph, chokes out Andre, chokes out Bruno, chokes out Paul, gets revenge for the loss of Chris, lost to Imavov, and he had lost to Sean. The resume is undeniably incomparable. And the body of work that he has done is undeniably incomparable, and who he's done it to, man. So that's why I feel like securing your door with Brendan Allen is absolutely fucking necessary. And you'll notice I'm just securing the doors on these fights, man, where, you know, I'm on the other side. I picked, you know, Gene Silva. I picked Fluffy Hernandez. I picked motherfucking Abdul. But I know I'm a degenerate, not a fucking dummy. I know better. I know that one of these more significant favorites on this card is going to fumble the bag. And hey, it might not be Abdul. It might not be Gene. It might be Fluffy. It might be Javid Basharat. It might be Nursultan Razibov. It might be Modestus Bokakis, minus 300. These jokers in the minus. You know what I mean? It might be one of these other more significant favorites and not the most significant favorites, but we know how things go. And in my personal opinion, quite a few of these dogs have the potential to bark. I just don't like all the blonde hair that's popping the fuck off on this motherfucker, man. Brendan Allen's out there with the fuck. First, it was Andre Petrowski last week, if I'm not mistaken. But that, regardless of how anybody feels about it, he won with the blonde hair. And then we had, and Christian Rodriguez was doing the blonde hair shit too before the Basharat fight, all in his training. That was pissing me off. We know what he did anyway, though. Petrowski came in with the blonde hair and he fucking won. Now fucking Brendan Allen came in with the fucking blonde hair. And Ricky Simone came in with the blonde hair. Boy, oh boy. One of these, I'm telling you, so many dogs have the potential to bark on this card. It's ridiculous. Did you see Javid Basharat at the weigh-in? And see, Ricky Simone had a good weight cut. No depletion in that young man's body, face, or eyes. That young man looked to have had one of his best weight cuts as of yet. And remember, he's in his backyard, man. He is in his hometown. He is a Washington boy, and this fight is taking place in Seattle, Washington, man. You know what I'm talking about? He will have the crowd. He will have... He's going to have it all, man. He's got the experience, 20-6 up against 14-1-1. Not only does he have the experience, but he has the experience of competing at the higher level of opposition for a lot longer. It is what it is, man. You know, I know folk is a bit down on him because his last 3 fights. But, you know, Sung Yadong, Mario Bautista, Vinicius Oliveira, with a win over Ricky Simone, Javid Basharat will open the door to these names, and he will lose all of these fucking fights as well as multiple more and then be booted out of the UFC. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, the doors and the gates that get opened up, the gates that get opened up to a different level of opposition with a win over Ricky Simone. In my personal opinion, you know what I mean? And I'm just not necessarily sure that Javid Basharat is or ever will be ready for that level of opposition, man. The boy came in, his UFC debut, he had to fight Merab Dvalishvili. That was very controversial. Merab was doing the 1-2. It's not like he ran away with that fight or anything. He just managed to get a he just managed to get the guillotine choke. Call it what you will, he got the dub regardless of how anybody feels about it. It's over Merab. It's on the motherfucking resume. That's a feather in the cap. Then Montel Jackson via unanimous decision because you locked up 7 takedowns on him. That's a feather in the cap. We could care less about Ronnie. Uriah Faber, losing to Uriah Faber in 2019. Uriah got that pop in his shot, and he just happened to catch motherfucking Ricky. So, you know, we can't frown on him. Losing to Rob Font, nothing wrong with losing to Rob Font, man. Ray Borg, who cares? Perillo, who cares? Brian Kelleher, I care. Very solid, very well-rounded. Brian Kelleher, Brian Boom Kelleher, and Jared Flash Gordon, very much, you know, very solid, very well-rounded, very underrated, very overlooked, man. You know what I mean? So I'm not going, you know what I mean? It's a decent win. Rafael Sansal, decent win. Jack Shore, not so much so. You know what I'm talking about? Then Sung Yadong, Mario Bautista, and Vinicius Oliveira. It's just, you know, the gates to that level of opposition got open to Vinicius, and he proved, you know, to Saeed and the rest of anybody who doubted him that he was ready for that tier, for that level, and to be beyond those doors. You know what I'm talking about? So it is what it is. Javid, not so much so in my personal opinion, man. He looked horrendous on the scales too. Just sucked in. Trevin 5-star Jones, 5-star, that was Trevin's name, right? Like, come on, man. Beating Trevin Jones, beating Oran, Kayla, whatever it was on the Dana White Contender Series means nothing. Beating Trevin Jones in your UFC debut means absolutely nothing. The kid was what? 1-4-1 in the UFC. 1-4-1 in the UFC. So losing to that motherfucker, I mean, beating that motherfucker means nothing. If it's fucked up that I think he caught Mario Bautista with a flying fucking knee, like ASAP, and got Bautista out of there. That's Trevin Jones' 1 win in the UFC. That sucks for Mario Bautista, but it's Trevin fucking Jones, man. Tony Gravely and Matusa Mendonca, like, we cashed with Jesus Aguilera against Matus Mendonca as an underdog, if I'm not mistaken. No contest to Victor Henry, and you lose to Amin Zahabi. I'm not saying anything about losing to Amin Zahabi, but you threw 67 significant strikes. Amin threw 75 significant strikes. If I pull up the count altogether, like, Javid is just not a high-volume striker. I get it. Ricky's not necessarily a high-volume striker neither. He goes heavy with the wrestling. Ricky's solid, though. Like, Ricky has pop in his shots, in his punches, and in his kicks. He's a fucking truck. You know what I'm talking about? When he hits like a fucking truck, man. And I say all that because, oh yeah, with Trevin Jones hit Javid quite a few times, man. Quite a few times. And if the proper combination is strung together, or just the proper counter or check hook, Javid could be in some serious fucking problems. Ricky cracks. Ricky has power. Ricky can pop. If Ricky finds that fucking chin clean, he could clip and disconnect Javid, or at the very least, put him on fucking skates, put him in a detriment, a compromisable position on the feet, and then take advantage of that vulnerability. You know what I'm talking about? This is another one where, it is what it is, man. I'm just going to apply at plus 190 is his money line, and 290 is points, 1,200 by KO, TKO, 1,600 by submission. You know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily sure I want to go in on Ricky, the way I went in on some of the other ones. So what I'm going to do with Ricky is just apply the swap out option. You know what I'm talking about? To some of the parlay tickets that I have motherfucking Javid in. I'll duplicate those tickets. You understand what I'm saying to you? I think I might have 2 or 3 tickets that have Javid in them. And what I'll do is I'll duplicate them tickets, except for I'll be swapping out Javid and adding motherfucking Ricky's money line of plus 190 in that slot where Javid's minus 275 was at. You know what I mean? He's at minus 240 now. Ricky's at plus 190. He was at minus 275 when I locked him up in a parlay. And Ricky was probably like a plus 200, plus 210, maybe 205 or something like that. Either way you look at it, he's plus 190 now. So what I'm going to do with Ricky, as far as securing my back door, as far as Ricky's concerned, it's nothing too crazy, just something light, nothing major. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate a couple parlays and apply the swap out option. You know what I mean? And I don't have to, do anything crazy as far as investing into those tickets, because the plus 190 is going to boost the parlay payout, and I can just put a little sprinkle on it just in case. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't going to hold you. I am going to probably come in here and where's he at, man? Yeah, it's plus 420, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. By points is plus 500. By submission is plus 950. And I think if it gets done by KO. You know what I'm saying? It could happen by points, man, but I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to happen by KO. I think I might just have a single play because Ebo's what, 14-1 with 14 knockouts and 1 knockout loss. And that knockout loss came to Anton Circali, if I'm not mistaken. Ion Cutelaba can fucking crack. Iwan, that's how they were saying his name. I always thought it was Ion or maybe Eon. And motherfuckers was calling him Ewan when they called him up to get on the scale. They said Ewan Cutelaba. I said Ewan. I've been saying this shit either I've been saying this shit wrong for a long fucking time, or that motherfucker said it wrong today. You know what I'm talking about? Man, fuck him. He said it wrong, man. Anyway, Ion plus 420. Let me light this blunt up. Plus 420. Plus 420. Do I put a dub on it? No. I might just put 42 on it, man. Fuck it. Little single play. $42 on plus 420 for Ion Cutelaba via KO TKO. That might be the look right there. You know what I'm talking about? That might be the look right there, because I feel like he can come right over the fucking top with a nasty little right. He might motherfucking, storm him. Take down ground and pound. He might just get knocked smooth the fuck out, if we being honest. Ebo might just catch him, clip him, and disconnect him from his motherfucking consciousness. But that's okay, because Ebo's locked up in some parlays too. This is all about securing back doors, man. And there's not too many of these motherfuckers I want to secure. You know what I mean? But for the ones that I do, we gonna talk about these motherfuckers real quick. You know what I mean? And Ion, as much as I'm not a fan of Ion, I'm not a fan of Ebo. Ebo's 14-1 though. Ebo's 14-1. He only knows how to win via catching, clipping, and disconnecting somebody from their consciousness. And for as long as Ion's been at it and active, he's only been caught, clipped, and disconnected from his consciousness. He has only lost via KO TKO inside the distance on 3 separate occasions. So he's not necessarily the easiest motherfucker to get up out of there. You know what I mean? My dogs are barking for him right now, so it's a mandatory play, man. We gonna put something. I don't know if it's gonna be 42. It's gonna be a little 40. Fuck it, it's gonna be 42. 420. I'm gonna throw 42 on it, man, just because. And let that be that with that. I'm probably gonna be about a nickel. Maybe a nickel and a half into this card. So, hopefully something gonna shake for us, man. Hopefully something gonna shake for us. I got y'all in here for almost 50 minutes, man. I do apologize, but I feel like when I'm telling y'all how I'm gonna go about securing some of these doors properly, just in case, what if type shit, I feel like I should tell you why I feel as though I need to go about securing these doors the way I do. You know what I'm talking about? So, Melsik, I'm telling y'all, man, you've been fucking warned. You know what I mean? Gene Silva could prove to be the parlay killer if you have him heavily wrapped in everything. You know what I'm talking about? I'm somebody myself who was heavy on both Genes. More so on the other Gene, Matsumoto. I think he's a bad stylistic matchup for Rob. I've already cashed with Rob in the past plenty of times as a significant dog. If I take a loss and I'm on the wrong side of his pick this time, it is what it is, man. But I was heavy, I am heavy on them, you know what I mean? So I had to put parlays together myself that just don't have those fights in them. You know what I mean? So I don't have to worry about them fights, and I don't have to be sitting here at the end of the night saying, why the fuck did I lock that fight up and absolutely everything, you nut-ass motherfucker? You know what I mean? I ain't trying to go through that, man. That shit be stressful. I done been down that road too many times. That's why I do this shit. You know what I'm talking about? And even still, doing this shit, I can find myself venturing down that fucking road at times, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fucking degenerate. I gotta wheel myself in, man. That degenerate engine gets fine-tuned, boy. Brrr. That motherfucker gets turned over, man. And I'm off to the fucking races. And I don't know if any of y'all are anything like me. You know what I'm talking about? But like, now that I could bet on, you know, we got this Bet Rivers app in Delaware. You know what I mean? Like if I want to do FanDuel or DraftKings or anything like that, I got to go over to Maryland or the PA line real quick. You know what I'm talking about? Chop it up over there and put my bets in. I mean, we got this Bet Rivers over here. I used to have to just go to the casino. I still go to the casino because I'm a degenerate and I like having them paper tickets in my motherfucking, in my pocket. You know what I'm talking about? As well as my, you know, my parlays on my app. You know what I mean? I like to have parlays right here in my motherfucking hand, too. You know what I mean? I'll run right on up to the motherfucking store, cash them out, give me my cash receipt, put that thing in the motherfucking degenerate vault, man, and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Screenshot my joints on the phone. I just like to have action everywhere. But I'm only saying all of that to say this. I'm only saying all of that to say this. That now that I can sit here, right, and, you know, be like, okay, boop, bow, bip, go over the cards, see what I like, man. I really like that. Bang, I can just lock shit in, bow, the way I want to. You know what I mean? It's a lot better for me than when. Tell me if you could feel me on this, man. When I had to go to the casino to put my bets in, right? I could be dead ass sober. I'm talking about not smoke, no weed. I ain't seen a motherfucking drink in God knows how long. Walk into that casino, dead ass motherfucking sober. I get in front of that motherfucking kiosk and get to looking at all them money lines and I just get fucking drunk. And I walk up out of that motherfucker and I look down at my little shit that I was supposed to put in. And I might have put one of them bitches in and I put in 27 other motherfuckers that got nothing to do with what I was supposed to put in. I gotta turn around, go back in that bitch real quick and put in the joints I went in there to actually put in. Man, shit. I get drunk in front of these motherfuckers, man. It's good that I can do it from here when I want to do it, because it's like when I can't, man, when I couldn't, you know, I would be putting shit together on the apps, you know what I mean, and screenshotting, and then deleting and putting shit in and screenshotting, you know what I mean, or I'd be writing shit down on paper, old school, and taking this shit over to the casino with me, and maybe I put the paper in my pocket while I'm walking in the casino, maybe I'm on the phone, or I'm talking to somebody, or I'm looking at something, then I get to the motherfucking kiosk, I throw some motherfucking money in the motherfucking machine, right? Bang, hit MMA and all that shit. It's like I just took 10 shots of motherfucking Grand Marnier or something. I'm just in that motherfucker like, I'm drunk, man. You know, I'm start doing all types of crazy degenerate shit, you know? I'm putting everything together in that motherfucking, haven't reached in my back pocket to pull the slip out to put the shit together that I came in there to put together, man. These motherfuckers be dangerous. They dangerous, man. They dangerous, goddammit. You know what I mean? I don't have to go through that so badly now. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first see the money lines released, and I'm doing my due diligence, and I'm doing my homework, and I'm looking at these prelims for my prelim parlays, I can put in what I like, my solid plays, I can catch them, my early birds, I can do what I want to do. When I'm trying to put all that shit together and screenshot it and write it down, so when I get over there, hey, get the fuck off of them like that, boy. When I got to do all that, and I go over there, it never goes right. Don't do that, man. It never goes right. You know what I'm talking about? And it is what it is. My bad, y'all. I know I went all the way off with that, but that's just the degenerate shit that I go. The Chronicles of a Degenerate. You know what I mean? It's the shit. It's the shit, man. This is a double-edged sword, though, if we being honest. It is a double-edged sword because while I can place my motherfucking bets, you know what I mean? When I want to place them real quick, instead of having to jot them down and go over there and then do extra shit, you know what I mean? Instead of just putting them in, it's a double-edged sword because I put in what I want to put in, right? But then that motherfucker's there. Like, it's right there. It's right here. It's there. You know what I mean? It's fucking right there. And if it's cash or that motherfucker, they got rewards they want to give me to I'll bet more than what I should. You know what I'm talking about? I make some more unnecessary bets these days that I'm allowed to bet from my fucking house. You know what I mean? So it's a double-edged sword that way. It allows me to do what I want when I want, but it also allows me to do what I want when I want. You know what I'm talking about? And that's never a good look, man. You know what I mean? My youngest just came in. We creeping up on 55, man. We really talked about the ones that I really want to secure. Because when it comes to like my dogs, when we're talking about the dogs that I'm on, my dogs this week being Hafel against Modestus, you know what I'm talking about, and Julius versus Alonzo, and Henry versus Song. Those are my 3 dog picks on this card this week. You know what I'm talking about? I've already done favorites. You know what I mean? I've already done the favorites. I've already done the picks where I got Song Yadong wrapped up in the parlay. I got Alonzo Menafield in the all-far favorites parlay with Modestus. Modestus is on the favorites parlay on the prelims. He's on the favorites parlay for the whole card. You know what I'm talking about? Hafel was a pick switch. You know what I'm talking about? He was the one light adjustment. So I got early birds in as far as the favorites are concerned that have Modestus in it. And as far as Alonzo's concerned, he's in the main card favorite parlay and a whole card favorite parlay. I've done swap out options to my 3 dogs. So I don't feel like, you know, we got to go over doing anything as far as Song is concerned because the money lines ain't ridiculous. Modestus at -290. I think he's the biggest one. Alonzo's at 250 and Song is at 280. You know what I'm talking about? So I just did the swap out option as far as they are concerned. And I did my all favorites parlays, you know what I'm talking about? And then my all favorites parlays, you know, 3 and 4 and 5 legs where I put a 3rd, 4th, and 5th and 6th leg on as far as a dog is concerned. Different dog here, different dog there, see what's gonna work, you know what I mean? I'm a degenerate. I do all types of shit to try to hit this bag in some way, shape, form, or fashion. At the end of the night, and more times than not, that shit works. You understand what I'm saying to you? But that's that with that, man. For what it's worth, man. My apologies for holding y'all hostage. Peace and blessings.